What is up, guys? Delboy here. So some interesting news coming out of the heavyweight division. The news is that the WBC have ordered a final eliminator between Ortiz and Dillian Whyte. The purse bid is set for the 25th of May. This is interesting news. Obviously, Dillian Whyte has been chasing a shot at Deontay Wilder, and now he's been given a route to get that fight. If he takes the fight and beats Ortiz, he becomes Deontay Wilder's mandatory. And I feel it's going to be really interesting to see where Dillian Whyte goes. In 2017, Dillian Whyte didn't really have an eventful year. In fact, it wasn't a productive year at all. He only fought twice. He fought Malcolm Tan, who was a journeyman who nobody really heard of. He then fought Robert Helenius towards the end of 2017, and it was a stinker of a fight. Dillian Whyte got hurt. He looked pretty poor. He looked pretty sloppy at times. And at the end of 2017, people weren't exactly viewing Dillian Whyte as a top-level contender. Fast forward to March 2018, Dillian Whyte outboxes and knocks out a terribly prepared Lucas Browne, and now people are viewing him as a dangerous contender. It goes to show, and I hate to steal the phrase coined by a certain YouTuber, but knockouts really do cause amnesia. It really wasn't long ago when Dillian Whyte's career didn't really have any direction. You know, he was supposed to fight Marius Wack last year, for example, and that fight got cancelled. You know, he was inactive in 2017, only had 2 fights, and he wasn't really spoken about in high regards. But one knockout later, you know, he's really built himself a bit of momentum, and he has got options now. He's got this Ortiz option, which is a great fight. He's also very highly ranked in the IBF, and they have ordered a fight between him and Kubrat Pulev as a eliminator. So he's got 2 eliminators there, ready for him, in 2 really good fights. I like the Pulev fight. I like the Ortiz fight. No issue with either one of them. Also, not only that, he is saying he would fight Alexander Povetkin, and I'm sure Povetkin will be willing to take that fight. That would make big money in Russia. And when people say they want to fight Povetkin in 2018, I don't really believe too many people, but I actually believe Dillian Whyte would fight Povetkin, so that option is always out there as well. You know, Dillian Whyte's in a good position where he can get big fights and he can make some good money. And it's interesting to see how quickly that has changed. You know, one devastating knockout in the heavyweight division is all you need. And, you know, Dillian Whyte needs to ride this crest of a wave, and he really needs to build on it, really, you know. In regards to the Ortiz fight, like I said, I think it's a really good fight. It's a fight where I would make Ortiz a favourite. I've got to say, I feel Ortiz is a better technician. I think he's a harder puncher. I feel overall he's got a better skill set. But at the same time, we don't know how old the guy is. He's coming off a knockout loss. His confidence could be dented. And to add to the fact, he is on blood pressure medication, so how fit is this guy? You know, can he cope with another high pressure fight? How is he going to react to it? Maybe Ortiz is there for the taking. Who knows? But I feel, in terms of actual skills, Ortiz is a much better fighter than Dillian Whyte. So I think it's a very risky fight. But due to all the talking Dillian Whyte's been doing about Deontay Wilder, and how adamant he is about getting a shot at that title, does Dillian Whyte actually have an obligation to fight Ortiz to get that Wilder fight? Does he have an obligation to do it? Because if he doesn't do it and he fights Pulev, a lot of people are going to see that as a duck. A lot of people are going to see that as an easier option. I think that's debatable in terms of resumes in regards to Pulev and Ortiz. It's debatable. I think both guys bring horrible stylistic matchups for Dillian Whyte, to be honest with you. But I feel if he swerves that fight and takes the Pulev fight, a lot of people are going to criticise Dillian Whyte after all the talking he's been doing. He's made Deontay Wilder his main target for a little while now. So if Dillian Whyte turned around and said, do you know what? I'm not actually going to take that eliminator. I want to go a different route. He'd look a little bit silly. But regardless, he does have a lot of options. Dillian Whyte does have a fight scheduled for June or July. And maybe they're going to go the Pulev route. But if that's the case, I mean, Dillian is going to get criticised. But like I said, the guy has options. You know, he's in a good position. and it goes to show what one big performance can do for you. If I had to choose between the Ortiz and the Pulev fight, I would actually pick the Ortiz fight, mainly because stylistically I think that fight gels better. I think a fight between Dillian Whyte and Pulev would be a bit ugly. You know, there'd be a lot of clinching, it'd be messy. You know, Dillian Whyte's quite an ungainly guy, whereas Pulev is a guy who's likes to dictate range with his jab and right hand. I think they're going to be standing off each other, they're going to be clinching. You know, I think it'll be an ugly fight. But regardless, both fights are good. I wouldn't have a problem with either one, but I think Dillian Whyte has kind of backed himself into a corner to where he probably should take the Ortiz fight. Nevertheless, great news for Dillian Whyte, and even better news for us boxing fans. I want to see Dillian Whyte fight a top 10 contender. You know, see how he does. I want to see him fight an Ortiz. I want to see him fight a Pulev. You know, I want to see him fight a Povetkin. You know, these are the type of fights I want to see Dillian Whyte in next. Hopefully we get one of these fights, but it's looking positive on the Dillian Whyte front. And a lot more positive than it was looking this time last year. What do you guys think? Peace.